So are you looking for a sexy musk fragrance? Well, Frederic Malle's Musc Ravageur might be the fragrance for you. So let's go ahead and review this one now. Hey, what's going on guys? Hunter here and welcome back to my channel. And if you are new, what I do is I make fragrance related content. So if you love fragrances, go ahead and smash the subscribe button down below. But that's right guys, we're gonna be reviewing Frederic Malle's Musc Ravageur. Now, Musc Ravageur was actually my first from the house and I always heard great things about it for quite a few years and finally got a bottle. And when I did, the first time I smelled this one, I was like, kind of like, whoa, it kind of opened my eyes. But it did also remind me of, or similar to another fragrance that we'll talk about later on. So let's go over some information about Musc Ravageur. So Musc Ravageur was released in 2000. Now that would of course make it 22 years old as the time of this recording. And I believe this was one of the first creations under the Editions de Parfum by Frederic Malle, or just one of the first creations by Frederic Malle in general. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I think it might be. Now, as far as retail goes, Musc Ravageur is a pretty expensive fragrance. For a 50 ml bottle, it's gonna run you $210 like you see here. And for a 100 ml bottle, it's gonna run you $295. So it's definitely not a cheap fragrance by any means. So the perfumer behind Musc Ravageur is actually Maurice Roussel, which you can so happen to see listed on the front of the bottle, which I just love. So we'll look more into detail at that when we go through the presentation and packaging now. So looking at the package, it does come in. It's a very, very nice packaging you have here. It is done in this beautiful red color. Of course, Musc Ravageur, Maurice Roussel right there by Frederic Malle. And then on the side, you do just have some of your ingredients and some information. Like I said, this is an eau de parfum concentration and I have it in the 50 ml bottle. Now on the back, this is what I absolutely love and respect from Frederic Malle. You have actually a picture of Maurice Roussel himself and some information about him. And I think honestly, every fragrance company should do this because when you think of a fragrance, it's not the fragrance house in general that made the fragrance, it's actually the perfumer. So they should get the respect and the knowledge that they deserve for creating the fragrances that they do. On this side, nothing else, just you have the Frederic Malle logo right there. Now let's take this sleeve off and look at inside. So when you take the sleeve off, you do just have this nice cardboard here. It actually does seem very, very high quality. Nothing around or the sides or the back of the box, but your fragrance actually sits in like so. It has a nice cutout for it. So yeah, it does have a very niche, high quality kind of packaging, which I love. So with the bottle of Musc Ravageur or Frederic Malle in general, it is a little bit simple, but I love the aesthetic they're going for with it. Of course, you see Musc Ravageur in red, which looks awesome. Maurice Roussel, the perfumer on the front. On the top, you do have the Frederic Malle logo. Now the cap is decently weighted, nothing inside the cap, nothing on the atomizer, but it does click into place, which is nice. When you get to the back of the black sticker, you of course have your bottle size with some information. And then on the bottom is where you'll find your etched in batch code with no sticker. And my batch code is A90. And that is a solid bottle in my opinion, and it looks awesome. So on the top notes, you're gonna get lavender, tangerine, and bergamot. The middle notes, you're gonna get cinnamon and cloves. And in the base, you're gonna get vanilla, musk, tonka bean, amber, sandalwood, gaiac wood, and cedar wood. Now, when you look at that note breakdown, you do think it's gonna be obviously an oriental fragrance because of the opening. You have citruses, and then obviously cream of vanilla and cinnamon and stuff like that in the dry down. But let's go ahead and spray Musc Ravageur and test out the atomizer here. I'm gonna spray my forearm. Very nice atomizer. It's not pressurized, but it does have a very good distribution. Oh, all right, so let's see what we get from that opening blast of Musc Ravageur, and I'm already picking it up in the air. So in the opening of Musc Ravageur, you are gonna get a little bit of lavender, but it's not your typical barbershop fougere kind of lavender by any means. Alongside that, you do have tangerine and bergamot, but for me, I do pick up on some of that tangerine, but it's not like a huge burst of it because honestly guys, I am not a fan of tangerine at all, especially when it's done in a way where it's just like an overburst of it. In this one, not so much. It's very, very subtle, but alongside that, it is a very spicy fragrance, guys. You of course have the cloves, which definitely makes its presence known. It's a very spicy, a little bit cinnamony kind of fragrance. The opening of Musc Ravageur is very good, but for me, I definitely prefer when it dries down. That's my favorite part of this fragrance, is the dry down, because as it dries down, you're not gonna get any more of the citruses, you're not really gonna get any lavender. The cinnamon and cloves still stay put for pretty much the life of the fragrance once you hit the middle notes, but in the dry down is where you get the vanilla and you get the musk. Now the vanilla and the musk are the two dominant players in this fragrance by far. And the musk in Musc Ravageur, I've never smelled a musk quite like this, because usually when you have musk, it's usually just like a clean, soapy, white musk. But in this one, guys, it's not that. It's the exact opposite. It comes across like an animalic, furry, warm musk, almost like deer fur, guys. That's exactly how this musk comes across, and I absolutely love it so much. Yeah, very furry. Alongside the musk though, you do have that nice creamy, warming vanilla in this. Now I don't really pick up on any of the woody aspects such as the sandalwood, cedarwood, and gaiac wood. It may be in there, but the musk and the vanilla and even the cloves and cinnamon definitely take over the composition of this fragrance for pretty much the entire life of it. You know how I mentioned earlier when I first smelled this fragrance, it did remind me of another fragrance? Well, that fragrance it reminded me was Guerlain's Shalimar, which is obviously targeted towards women, and it was launched back in the 1920s. So that fragrance is around 100 years old at the time of this recording. And Shalimar was actually the first Oriental fragrance ever created, where it opened up very citrusy, and it's spicy, and it dried down to be very creamy and stuff like that, which this one is. This is a very complex fragrance. As far as when I say complex, it's just the amount of notes in here. It does open up a little bit citrusy, it's spicy, a little bit gourmand because of the vanilla and cinnamon. It's also animalic because of the musk, and just dirty and furry. And you do have some of the wood, but it's pretty much like the man's version of Shalimar. Even though I love Shalimar, I would even wear that myself. I did have a bottle, but I actually gave that bottle to my mother, which she loves Shalimar as well. Now, Musc Ravageur is one of the sexiest fragrances, if not the sexiest fragrance you can buy, in my opinion, of course, because you do have that nice animalic, furry musk, which is obviously a pheromone. This is a very daring blend. A lot of people will not like this one either. It's a very niche-like. I would highly suggest probably sampling a bottle of this instead of just blind buying it or testing it out at like a department store, because this is a very exotic fragrance. And I'm not sure how they did the musk so well, because if you don't know, real musk is actually banned in perfumery and has been for I think quite a long time. The way they pretty much made this accord resembles natural musk so well, guys. Can't believe how well they did this with Musc Ravageur. It's so phenomenal. If you did catch my top 10 sexiest fragrance videos, you would know Musc Ravageur actually came in at #1. I think it is the sexiest fragrance in my opinion. It's just so good. Now, as far as seasons go for Musc Ravageur, this is absolutely a cold weather fragrance because it is very spicy, very warming, very creamy, very musky as well. Definitely suit this for the winter and fall, because if you wear this one in the spring and summer, it would absolutely be cloying. It may even make you a little bit sick as well, because this stuff is strong, but we'll talk about performance in a little bit. But yeah, fall and winter, mostly for Musc Ravageur. Even maybe a spring evening if you're going on a date, because as far as seasons go, this is an absolute fantastic date night fragrance. Probably one of the best, even though she may be shocked in the way you smell, because you're not going to be smelling like everyone else wearing like Blue de Chanel, Sauvage, everything like that. This one will pretty much mesmerize her when she first gets a smell of you wearing this. It's definitely not office safe or work safe in general. I would only wear this one on a date, maybe casually, like on the weekends and stuff like that. I mostly say this one if I'm just craving Musc Ravageur, or for date night scenarios only for me. Now, as far as age groups go, definitely more of a mature, masculine fragrance. Not your teenage fragrance at all. Trust me on that. Wear this one if you're probably 25 and up. It comes across very, very mature. This fragrance is actually starting to change a lot. More of that furry animalic musk is coming through with alongside the heavy dose of vanilla and the spicy cloves is what I'm getting. Wow, this stuff is almost to die for, guys. I absolutely am in love with Musc Ravageur. In this 50 ml bottle, I almost wish I would have got a 100 ml bottle, but I do collect my Frederic Malles in 50 mils. I do have also Promise from the Desert Gems, which is another phenomenal fragrance. Catch my review on that. I did do one. I think everyone should at least try this fragrance once just to get that musky kind of scent profile from a fragrance and know exactly what, when you think of musk, how a musk should smell, it's in this. Not that clean, soapy, white musk. No, that just does musk injustice. But in Musc Ravageur, guys, this is how musk should come across. So let's talk about performance from Musc Ravageur. Right off the bat, guys, this is above average in the performance category. The projection is pretty much, it's not as strong and nuclear as Promise. That stuff is just on another level, but it is above average. This thing will project a good over 6 feet for a few hours. Now, as far as longevity goes, I do get around 8 hours or so. It does get through pretty much a work shift. You won't have to reapply this, nothing like that. It's not your typical freshie that lasts like 3 hours. No. This is definitely satisfying as far as the longevity goes. I'm perfectly fine with around 8 hours of that. So yeah, no real complaints when it comes to performance, but all in all, guys, Musc Ravageur is one of my favorite fragrances in my entire collection. Definitely in the top 5. I will forever have a bottle of this stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much gonna wrap it up for my review of Musc Ravageur. Let me know down below if you've ever tried this one. If you're thinking about trying this one, I think everyone should. Like I said, it's a phenomenal animalic, musky fragrance that will pretty much challenge your nose, so to say. So yeah, definitely try this one if you haven't already, but if you have, let me know down below your thoughts on Musc Ravageur. But as always, leave a like on the video if you did enjoy it, subscribe if you guys haven't already, and I'll catch all you guys in the next upload. Take care, everybody.